In a quiet village called Amakano, a little girl named Nnenna was born. She wasn't like the other children. Her birth was a miracle. After her parents had prayed for many years, Nnenna was beautiful with soft brown skin, curly hair, and the most striking feature, her green eyes. Both of her eyes shone green, a color no one in the village had ever seen. But instead of celebrating her uniqueness, the villagers called her Amosu. That is a witch. No child has eyes like that, they whispered. Her parents, Mazi and Lolo Okafo, loved her dearly and refused to listen to the villagers. Still, Nnenna grew up lonely. The children avoided her. The villagers gossiped and no one dared to play with the girl with the green eyes. They often mocked her, calling her the little witch with green eyes. However, Nnenna had one gift that nobody in the village knew about. You see, Nnenna's eyes, they weren't just for decoration. They had a special power. She could see things that no one else could. Things that were invisible to the human eyes. Nnenna could see ghosts, spirits, and even things from another world. One day, as Nnenna sat under the large udara tree, she felt a cold wind blow. Her green eyes glowed faintly. She saw a shadow moving in the distance, shifting between the trees. Curious, she followed it to the edge of the forest. The shadow slowly took shape, forming a figure of a woman. The woman's eyes were empty, like dark holes, and her voice echoed in Nnenna's mind. "Help me," the spirit pleaded. "I am lost and cannot find peace. My bones are hidden, forgotten by those I once called family. Please, child, lay me to rest." Nnenna's heart raced. She felt the woman's sorrow, and though she was afraid, she nodded. She had seen things like this before. Spirits, or sometimes ghosts, would appear when she least expected them. Most people couldn't see them, but she could. Nnenna had seen her first ghost when she was little. It had been a tall man in old-fashioned clothes, standing by the village well. He didn't speak, but she could feel his sadness. Nnenna felt a chill run down her spine. She could sense the spirit's pain, and her heart went out to her. But where would she find the bones? What had happened to this woman all these years ago? The shadow began to fade. But before it disappeared, it left Nnenna with one final message. "You have the gift, Nnenna," the voice whispered. "You are the only one who can help me." The figure vanished, leaving Nnenna standing alone. Nnenna's mind was filled with questions. Who was this spirit? How could she help her? And where could she find the bones of someone who had been lost for so long? That evening, she walked home. Nnenna couldn't shake the feeling that something important was waiting for her. She had always known that her green eyes were special, but this was the first time it had led her to something so mysterious. She didn't know where to start looking, but she couldn't ignore the spirit's plea. As night fell, Nnenna lay in bed, staring up at the ceiling, thinking of the woman with the empty eyes. The village seemed so quiet, and she felt the weight of the spirit's request pressing on her. She knew that tomorrow she would have to begin the search. The nights felt colder than usual, and Nnenna couldn't sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the woman's shadow figure, her empty eyes staring at her. She tossed and turned, trying to forget the spirit's words. "You are the only one who can help me," the voice had said. It echoed in her mind like a never-ending whisper. By the time the first light of dawn peered through the cracks in her window, Nnenna had made up her mind. She had to find the woman's bones. But where could she start? She had heard tales of old villagers who had disappeared mysteriously. Could one of them be the spirit who had spoken to her? Nnenna's heart raced as she walked toward the old part of the village, where the ancient trees stood tall like silent guardians. The elders often spoke about this part of the village in hushed tones. It was a place where time seemed to stand still, and it was said that the spirits of the past lingered there. Nnenna had never ventured there alone before, but she felt a pull as though the spirit was guiding her. The path grew narrower as she walked deeper into the woods. The trees with their twisted branches looked like they were reaching out to her, as if they knew she was about to uncover something important. The air grew heavier, and the sounds of the village faded behind her. All that remained was the rustling of leaves and the occasional chirp of a bird. Suddenly she felt it, a cold, creeping sensation like someone was watching her. Nnenna froze, her heart pounding. She turned around quickly, but no one was there. Still, the feeling lingered, and she couldn't shake the sense that something was just beyond her sight. Maybe followed, she whispered to herself. Nnenna pressed on, following a narrow trail between the trees. It seemed like she was walking forever, but soon she came upon a clearing. In the center of the clearing was a large stone, half buried in the earth. It was old, covered in moss, and had strange markings carved into its surface. Nnenna felt a chill through her spine. Something about the stone seemed familiar. As she touched it, her green eyes glowed brightly, and the stone began to shift on its own, revealing a hidden hollow beneath. Inside, Nnenna found bones wrapped in faded clothes, an old necklace with a red bead, and a parchment. The parchment had strange symbols she couldn't understand, but one word stood out. Adobe. Was this the name of the spirit? She asked. Before she could think further, a growl echoed through the forest. Nnenna turned and saw a massive black wolf with a fiery red eye. Adobe was cursed for her wrongdoings. Her bones must remain hidden. Nnenna froze, clutching the bones tightly. She deserves peace, she said bravely. The wolf's eyes narrowed. Do you understand what you're doing? Freeing her might bring chaos. Can you bear the consequences? Nnenna closed her eyes, letting her green eyes glow brighter. She remembered her grandmother's old prayer and whispered it softly. The wolf paused, watching her with caution. She suffered enough, Nnenna said. Even those who have made mistakes deserve peace. Let me help her. The wolf hesitated before stepping back. If you truly believe this, then do as you must. But remember, balance always comes at a price. With trembling hands, Nnenna carefully laid Adobe's bones into the earth and recited the prayer for the dead. As she finished, a gentle light surrounded her. The spirit of Adobe appeared, smiling with gratitude. Her empty eyes now glowed softly. Thank you, Nnenna, Adobe said. You have given me peace. Never forget your gift. It is both a blessing and a responsibility. The spirit faded and the forest grew calm. Nnenna returned to the village, her heart filled with pride. For the first time, she felt like she had a purpose, and she knew her gift was meant for more than just loneliness. As she walked back toward the village, the first rays of the morning sun broke through the trees. The world seemed brighter, and for the first time, Nnenna felt like she truly belonged. The villagers would no longer fear her. They would see her for who she truly was, a brave, kind girl who had listened to the call of the lost soul and helped her find peace. Moral lessons. Sometimes the best gift comes in packages that we don't expect. And because we don't expect it to come in that form, we tend to reject it without giving it a chance to get to understand and know the content. Thank God Nnenna's parents didn't just give up on her, but actually celebrated her difference. The villagers didn't understand her gift, so they called her a witch. Don't judge a book by its cover. Your difference is your uniqueness. God bless you.